Ageless Energy Radio. How to feel 22 at any age. Would you like to feel young and vibrant regardless of your age? Never have to call in sick again. Be laser focused and productive all day long. Stop feeling stressed out by your life. Stay calm and confident no matter what. Go to bed feeling peaceful and wake up energized? Ageless Energy is healing your self-generating energy systems through the renewal of your body, mind, and spirit for complete wellness without artificial stimulants or medication. Would you listen? Anyone who wants to feel young, ageless, and productive, regardless of their years. Join your host, Dr. Chandler George, as we explore your mind, body, spirit to feel 22 at any age.
This is Dr. Chandler George of Ageless Energy, and this is the second in our podcast series here this spring in 2017. And what we want to discuss today is energy flares, energy disruptions, energy eruptions, anything that gets in the way of increasing your energy. Now, we're going to have show guests. We're going to have people coming in. We're going to have opportunities. We're going to have contests, neat things for you to do to share how you get more ageless energy. And also in this particular episode, what creates energy disruptions for you. So for me, it can be too much noise and overstimulations of sounds coming at me in a barrage of ways, whether it be dogs or kids or airplanes or whatever it might be, and just overstimulated all the way around. Or allergies could be overstimulations, right? In your nose, in your sinuses, in your headspace. People, too many people, too much noise coming at you from many different directions. And many times the older we get, the easier it is to get overstimulated. Our ears just kind of ring and we're ready to call it a day. Others can kind of separate that out, not get so hyper stimulated, and it won't bother them near as much. Matter of fact, they may even need a lot of stimulation like that just to feel alive or just to even get going or to feel ageless energy at 22 if they don't have enough of that stimulation, right? And because some people are also adrenaline junkies, if they don't have enough exotic trips or constant vacations or show me and fancy stuff, then they don't feel alive or stimulated. So, what is it to feel alive? What is it to have the ageless energy at 22? It's really about being in the states of consciousness, the alpha, the beta, the zeta, the theta, the delta that lets you sleep, that lets you feel alive or very hyper and very energetic. And going through those states at a conscious period of time throughout your life, each and every day, like a very fun roller coaster, like a really good story or really good movie takes you on an emotional roller coaster and into different states of frequencies. Even good church services will do that with the music, which are anthems many times, so that you're all pretty much at the same frequency together. So with everyone together in a live audience, with the music, with the energy, then you're very much receptive to the Word of God and to what you believe in and to whoever the preacher or pastor or whatnot may be. And so this is very important to set the stage in our brains and in our bodies, because the mind can only accept so much and it needs to be balanced. Remember, this is mind, body, spirit, ageless energy, how to feel 22 at any age. How do you want to feel young and vibrant, regardless of your age? Not have to call in sick. Be laser focused and productive all day. Stop feeling stressed out by your life. Reduce or get rid of aches and pains without medicines. Stay calm and confident no matter what. Go to bed feeling peaceful and wake up energized. Hey, some people don't need a lot of sleep. I know I tend to need a little bit more. Everyone is different on the spectrum. But for today, what is the energy flares or eruptions that create disharmony in your life? What are yours? Now, I'm going to give you some questions in a different series of deals. So I want you to think about them and write them down for your own self-test. But you also feel free to tweet them back to me or to comment on our website at catchfirecoaching.com under Ageless Energy or Ageless Energy on Twitter or Ageless Energy on Facebook, and let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts today as we post this out of what yours would be. So, for example, maybe it's food. You think you're good because you eat lots of salad every day, and so from a food standpoint, you think you're an ageless energy. But how many heads of lettuce grown in, just for example, 1999 would equal the nutritional value of a head of lettuce grown in 1948, for example? True statistic. Is it 1, 3, 9, 20, 35, or 50 heads of lettuce to equal the same as one head of lettuce in 1948? Yeah, you guessed it. It might be many more heads of lettuce than you think you can actually eat. So tell me what you think it is. I'll have a free download of our Ageless Energy coloring book for the folks who can tell me what that is. Put it on the deal, and we'll Send out the link right there to you for our Ageless Energy Zen coloring book. If you can't wait, you can go ahead and get it off Amazon, but we'll send it to you. Which organizations or agencies monitor the labels on drugs and food that are supposed to protect us from things that would cause us energy flares or disruptions? FDA, maybe? But can they be bought off? Are they human? Could they make mistakes? Something to think about. How about lack of water? We're body electric. We're electrical beings. Do you get enough water in your body every day? And is it the right kind of water? Is it more acid or is it more basic? Right? You need more basic. How much water does the average person need to drink each day? Which depends on your body weight. So, for example, you calculate 1/2 of your body weight and convert that number to ounces. So if you weigh 150, then it would be, 75 ounces in a typical day of moderate activity. Now, if you drink caffeine and pop and things like that, you're going to need more water to offset those things, aren't you? Right? And even if it's tap water, it's better than no water compared to everything else you could possibly drink. But think of a garden, because some people say, well, I just do organic gardening and eat my own food. Okay, well, you got to have the right dirt, organic dirt of some sort, right? You have to have the right water. Whatever you water it with totally matters. That's kind of like the blood. Whatever the water is, what's the water source that you're using? And then the air. The plants breathe. What kind of air are they getting? Darn, some of us take better care of the tomato plants than we do our own bodies. So how are you treating yourself? What are you going to do for yourself? Think about that. How are you going to take advantage of your own opportunities to take care of your own health so that you never have to call in sick and don't age before your time? What are your energy flares and how you want to get back into balance? And do it without drugs and lotions and potions if you can, because that's expensive. And even if it's not expensive for you, it's very time consuming to go do that all the time, right? That's like I have friends in Canada. They can go to the doctor and not have to pay much or anything for it, but it takes a lot of time, doesn't it? And your time is life, and the older you get, the more valuable that time becomes and puts you out of balance. And we don't want to be in balance. So let's just continue on here. So energy flares are the subtle warning signs that your body sends to indicate your health or self-generated energy systems are being compromised. Minor aches and pains, a daily ache, allergies, moodiness are not just not having a lot of energy, but they ought to indicate your body is out of balance and not operating at maximum capacity. So often what is considered normal, like the 3 p.m. lull or a cold, is actually an energy flare. Silent but deadly. Energy flares beg us to take corrective action before it is too late. And, after having seen about 20-something thousand patients and over 22 years in practice in multiple counties where I had practices, I can tell you we had some people pass away that said they were fine and had no symptoms, but actually had a lot going on. It was usually a heart attack or something like that. It is more common than we want to admit with how sick we are, but we have no symptom. Don't wait till there's a symptom, right? When we take a big trip, if it's in a car or an airplane, we spend a lot of time, money, and effort to be sure the airplane or the car is okay before we take the trip. Because if anything goes wrong, we're toast. Well, how about our own bodies? We don't spend near that much time being sure everything's okay there, and it changes a lot, right? Every time a plane flies, they're checking it out. Well, every time we get up, we're not checking everything out, but we should do certain things to increase our energy, right? Say our prayers, brush our teeth, move our bodies, do things to increase our energy, listening to some great music, some things that get you excited, do some great readings, go out for a run, talk to your best friends, talk to your spouse, whatever that is, right? And those are kind of your energy checks to be sure you're set for a great day. We go through a process, don't we? Just like you would in church. You many times go through some sort of process to create the energy or balance within your life so that you can be more productive, have more fun, have more social, all of these things that are important to us. Well, we're typically, though, not taught to be in tune with our bodies. So think like musical instruments. We recently got a 1985 Baldwin grand piano, and what a deal. This wonderful lady in her 90s needed to sell it, and so we're carrying on her legacy, and pretty well she gave it to us, basically. But once it was moved by special movers, then it has to be sitting for 4 weeks in a certain location before it can be tuned, because it has to adapt to its environment of humidity and dryness and sounds and vibrations before it can be properly tuned. And if we were to move it again, that would have to happen yet again, the entire process. Well, can you imagine the toll on our bodies that traveling all the time in different time zones does to us? I mean, yes, I understand the sense of variety gives us energy, and you need to do that. But sometimes if it's for work or too tight of a schedule and too many time changes, and then we're taking Ambien or drugs to pop us up, pop us down to get through it, right? And then think, do you think for very long we're going to be thinking at our sharpest or physically, being our sharpest? It really takes a toll on you. They talk about this with the basketball players and the football players, how the grind, and a lot of that's the travel grind. So think of that as being in tune with your body. We want to be in harmony with our environment to be the best we can. Hey, it works for great musical instruments. I'm sure it'll work for us. Matter of fact, being as a doctor and trained chiropractor, and now 30 years, I can tell you it's exactly what it is. And having many doctors in my family, you have to look at these things. Matter of fact, a great magazine you might want to pick up, you probably have to get it online, or maybe you'll see it at a Barnes & Noble, is the patient newsletter from Townsend, the Townsend patient newsletter. Great things in there for health and for wellness. Also, you can always go to our website at Catch Our Coaching and find things that would help you, and things to look at, and certainly through this podcast that will direct you to. So if we're going to figure out our energy flares, while they're subclinical, we're going to have to do testing of some sort. What type of testing can you do? Blood testing will tell you an awful lot. I know Direct Labs has some great blood testing that you can do direct, or that your doctor can do direct, and you can save you a lot of money. You can go do the blood draws and immediately have some test results. So that's important, right? Do some self-diagnostic. Not that you're the doctor. Even though I'm the doctor, I still go see other doctors to be diagnosed. But do some testing. I demand testing. I want the exam. I want the x-ray. I want the regulatory thermography. I want to see a scan of my body in multiple ways for a differential diagnosis, so that we can come up with a working diagnosis and make me better, not just feel better, but truly better so I can be at optimal. A number of years ago, I wasn't at my optimum. I crashed and burned. I wasn't sure what happened. And in hindsight, it turned out to be my hormones. My hormones were being attacked, especially my thyroid, and antibodies that were creating a lot of havoc. Plus, I needed some iodine. Plus, my testosterone crapped out. It had been more than fine. And then boom, it was like literally, I think I could probably pick the month or two that it died there. And then I waited and waited thinking, oh, nothing really happened. And it was a combination of those two things that really sapped a lot of my energy. Now, how many men and or women are going through such a thing and they're silently suffering with it, telling nobody? They're not telling their spouse, they're not telling their friends for fear of retribution or fear they'll lose their job. And they're certainly not telling their doctors. And if they are telling their doctors, are they treating them the right way? These are all things we want to open up and ask, because it makes all the difference in the world. So for me, I know just to get my hormones back in check, I had a doctor I'd known for 25 years working with me, doing homeopathic and nutritional support, an OMD that's very well known and will be on this show. He made a massive difference for me, the biggest difference of all. I had blood tests locally. I still have regular blood tests. I started getting the right type of shots, started adding the right type of iodine, changing a few things. And then once everything kicked into gear, started really to work out and take advantage of feeling better and being back to my normal Chandler George self. And this is what we want for you. What is your energy flare? Mine were antibodies basically attacking my thyroid, and was hypothyroidism. But it's not a scary thing like a disease or anything to, freak out about or give a label or say I'm a victim. It's just stuff that happens to us throughout life, right? They're little roadblocks and things that get thrown at us that become big roadblocks when left untested over time. But I knew my energy, and I paid attention, and I quickly went and invested the time, money, and effort to solve it. And even though I'm a doctor, it isn't like I got it for free. I have huge deductibles. I went and paid for all this, as I did my hip issues when I tore a hip because I wanted to bike and run and still climb mountains for a long time. I didn't want to be done at 50 when I had an injury. So you need to do things to keep yourself at your best so that you can live the most enjoyable life possible. And it's not always going to be easy. Many times you're going to have to fight it, but I'm telling you, it's worth the fight. I know just the other day I needed to create some more energy so that I could be more productive and get some stuff done, because I think I had an allergy head, right? Just kind of a fuzzy head. So I quickly went to a spin class. I go regularly, but I hadn't been to this particular one. So I had 7 new friends. I had an hour's worth of new cool songs I hadn't heard before and a new teacher. And boy, it whipped me into shape. It whipped up my energy. It got me excited. I was stimulated in a positive way. And I came back and had a powerful rest of the day leading into the next day. Makes a huge difference. So learn how to recognize these things. How is your body functioning? Because a lot of times doctors are going to misdiagnose this or minimize it because there's no real test for it, because in the doctor world, everything is about a symptom, which is why typically a naturopath or a homeopathist or a chiropractor might pick up on it because it's more subclinical, right? In their identities, a functional type doctor, maybe a functional medicine doctor. So once you identify them, then you can restore your body to a natural state of wellness. Now, you need to learn the self-tests that indicate how well your body is functioning. Notice how well you feel on a daily basis, your daily self-check. Calculate how many stress factors you have in your life. Oh my gosh, that's going to hurt a lot of us. We're going to need a lot of calculations for that because it could be from too much sleep to not enough sleep to, too many glasses of wine, then too much coffee to overcome it. All consider stress factors, even the ones that you think weren't, like the glass of wine. It's a stress factor, no doubt about it. Notice fluctuations in your energy level throughout the day. They will change, and that's normal. That's not necessarily a bad thing. You can't stay up all day long. It's much like a good movie, right? The action goes up and down, and it makes an exciting movie or a good story or a good book. But overall, it should be high, right? If you're doing things to create good energy. They say now the worst thing other than smoking is sitting, right? It's the new smoking. Well, there's a lot of truth to it because if you're moving these stand-up desks and all this, you're going to be more creative. You're going to think better. You're going to feel better and be healthier all the way around than you are if you aren't moving. And there's scientific proof that nutrients and things go up and down your discs and things in your back and in the vertebra, then more of them go and move when you move. If you don't move, it doesn't pump it up and back, right? Those things all have to happen based upon movement. So movement makes a difference. Your lymphatic systems, right? You don't want lymphedema and swollen lymphatics or any problems with that. So the more you move and heavily move, like rebounding or a rebound machine running, elliptical trainer or something like that for at least 20 minutes, you really get the lymphatics going, clears out your head, right? And you don't feel like a snot head or look like a snot head, or at least not for long if you do it. Some of us got to do it every day during allergy season, but that's okay. You keep doing it. Become aware of mood swings you seem to have no control over. Well, and notice I said seem, because most of us have control over. We might have to use biofeedback or other things to help us have control, but we have some form of control, and we do have different devices. We use a device key to Ageless Energy, which affects the brain-body balance that you can listen to and has blue LED lights and reprograms the brain for whatever you need it to, whether it's athletic performance or better sleep, whatever it is. And we have it on Amazon under the key to sleep. You can also send us a comment and we'll let you know about it here on the podcast for the key to sleep. But it does many different things that you can have and it's inexpensive. And so you can go to catchfirecoaching.com and see much of this too at our website for the Ageless Energy. So these are things to be looking for. And for some people, our coloring book, our Zen adult coloring book of mountain landscapes and mountain activities is very relaxing, and coloring that is very therapeutic. What relaxes you? I know I really like watching a fireplace. Just the fire flickering relaxes me, along with some really good music, maybe some light jazz or a saxophone or an alto sax in a fireplace. I don't know. That just, a heavy snowstorm, if it's not real windy, where it just falls in big flakes and it's real silent. It's almost like silence is deafening, but it's just like gorgeous. Things like that give me a lot of energy, and maybe more so because I'm from Texas, so I tend to see more heat and cactus and things like that than I do the winter scenes, and so they tend to be more relaxing to me. But we all have it, right? Beaches are relaxing. I know going to Tahiti and snorkeling with the fish a lot in the freshest water I'd ever seen in my life. And Bora Bora was absolutely amazing. Go watch fish and eat fish all day and create that kind of energy in your life, like a vacation. So life isn't a vacation, but we want to create the energy as if it were. And the funny thing is people are attracted to energy. The more energetic you are at work or with your friends or at play, the more love and energy you get back, isn't it? And I don't mean to be a jokester and a prankster and do silly stuff just to get attention. But I mean, just the more you genuinely have good energy because you're happy, healthy, and feeling terrific and doing some great things, the more other people are attracted to you. You have a aura. You have a self-confidence about you that's just undeniable. You have a frequency about you that can be proven up. So I will give you tools and techniques to check your frequencies, to find these things, just like lights above you, the wrong kind of lights. You can check the frequency and know it's affecting your body. And there's actually these little Geiger counters that you can get for $30 that check that stuff out. It makes a huge difference. I want you to know what those things are because some of you are more sensitive to these things than others. I was sensitive, for example, to cow's milk. So I was raised on goat's milk. Well, hey, great for baby cows, but not so good for humans. There was too much protein of the capsid in there that really affected me. So goat's milk didn't have that and worked better for me. It was more digestible. What is it for you? Give me a comment back. What are things that are energy flares and energy disruptions for you in your life? Let us know what those are so that we can identify them and help you work through those in future shows. Plus, it's going to be different for everybody. There is no right or wrong answer on what your energy flare is. We all have them and they're all different. What throws me off doesn't throw my wife off, right? But I know my dad, my mom is a musician. She was a harpist or is a harpist, classical and Paraguayan folk harp and all this and piano. So, we went to sleep with her playing that stuff most of our life. And so it was very relaxing. But what was really not relaxing and very uncomfortable, even when we were younger, was the TV, especially a loud TV. Oh, I still have issues with it. In fact, you can ask anyone in my family. I do not like the TV on unless it's just playing sports every now and then. I don't really care for it on unless it's on something relaxing, music or church or something. I don't really like it on at all. And I don't like it very loud. I prefer instead someone playing music or playing the piano or something else going on like that. Certainly not my dog barking, but sometimes my dog Noah has to bark and say hello too. And sometimes that's a good bark and sometimes it isn't. So these are all things that can be considered energy flares throughout your life and your day that have to be identified so that you can start to work with. And I can't believe it, but we're already at the end of our show for today. And I wanted to get to some exercises, a self-test to determine your overall health and physiology of things that you can self-test. So I'm going to give you practical tools and tips shortly in the shows that come and with different authorities coming on the show that you can use. Today, we talked about the Patient Townsend newsletter that you could do. We talked about the key to Ageless energy, also known as the key to sleep, which you can get and pick up. And that'll take you to different programs with different frequencies, alpha and beta states if you're an athlete trying to achieve greatness, or if you have trouble sleeping, take you down to theta and zeta states of consciousness, and do all this within 15 to 20 minutes of the optimal state of learning and behavioral change in your brain. Well, many of us, for things like that, we may go to Tony Robbins, right? But can't always go to a Tony Robbins or a live event to achieve that. You many times have to be able to achieve it on your own. And that's what this show is about, is achieving the mind, body, spirit balance within yourself that you can recreate yourself and hopefully those around you and others that you love as well, without always having to be somewhere else. Now, we also do have workshops, we have live events, we have wonderful trips and excursions that we offer you that you can go to and achieve these things in different places as well. And I love those things. In fact, that's one reason we're doing this podcast, is because I've spent my life seeking those things out and going to those things, because it really makes a difference, because I need other people to achieve energy. I need other people in harmony and balance to achieve energy, whether it be at church, whether it be at the gym, whether it be in Tahiti, whether it be at a motivational event, or whether it be with a coach or consultant or something like that, of which I've had some 35 just in masterminds alone in the last 26 years. So all these things for me, maybe not for you, tend to give me energy. So we're going to talk about all the different ways to do it, the mind, body, and spirit. And it'll branch out from that of things that you can then take and use to create your own masterpiece in your life. I know as we go here, color. I love color. I love colorful shirts. I love color therapy. When I say Catch Fire coaching, it's a vivid amount of color for me. I know a lot of guys don't like a lot of color. It could be overstimulating for some, but for me, I love a lot of color. My brain tends to be busy, so I tend to not listen to anything in the car much. I tend to have clearer walls with a splash of color. So everyone has what gives them energy, right? And we need to identify what yours is and develop your environment and every aspect of your environment so that you can have these things in the face of anything that may challenge you. Hey, this is Dr. Chandler George. I look forward to seeing you on the next session of Ageless Energy to reach your dreams and go beyond.